Hello, 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 everybody. I am so excited today. I have Dr. Simmons in the house, and we are going to get started with this good conversation. But make sure you go ahead and share this live because I want as many women as possible to get this information. So I'm going to take time to go ahead and share, and I want you guys to take time to go ahead and share. And we're just going to really have a really candid conversation because there's some things that I want to know, and I know that I'm not speaking for just me. Hello. And we already started this good conversation, so we're going to continue it in a minute. But I just want, I just really, really want to help women understand because we can be so focused on taking care of everything else. We'll take care of, Lord, we'll spend time taking care of our physical body, our relational situation. We want to make sure that's intact. We're gonna check on our sometimes because I think that this is related to our mental health, our emotional status, but sometimes we'll sacrifice our emotional status for other parts.
Yes.
For the parts people can see. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Ask me how I know. So I'm going to share. Let me go ahead and share this in the tea room because I'll need the ladies in the tea room to make sure that they are getting this good information. And I encourage you, listen, ask questions. If you don't want your question on in the comments and you want to ask anonymously, listen, please go ahead and just send me the question, inbox me the question, and I will ask the question. But go ahead and jump on. We're gonna get started right away, and we will go from there. So, Dr. Simmons, can you tell us who you are? Because I know you are, and I absolutely love you. You're so amazing, and I know other women love you, and they're so amazing. But there's some women who don't know you.
Sure, absolutely. Well, first, thank you so much for having me. I absolutely love the work of Tiana's Tea. I think it's an amazing effort, kingdom business that you're taking care of. Well, I am Dr. Shanae. I'm a licensed mental health therapist here in the Florida area. I'm also licensed in Virginia. I have a group practice in Tampa, and our goal is to make sure that quality mental health services are not only available, but they're accessible and affordable to our community. That's me in short and sweet. I am a dysfunction disruptor. And so if you happen to spend time in the space of dysfunction and you're in my space, I'm going to disrupt that if you allow me to. But I believe that our community needs to be well. I believe we've had some unhealthy examples of what well is or should be. And so my overall goal is to get people to a place where they're functioning in the will of God, the way He designed them, without skewed examples of. But I'm totally operating in a space of shalom, and so that I find to be my passion point. And so I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love that. I love that you disrupt things because we have a tendency to pick up certain things, habits, behaviors, ideologies based on our experiences and how we're raised. And Lord knows that they are not healthy. They're not healthy. Okay. Hey, Victoria. They're not healthy. And so I just want to get into this good conversation because actually I had some questions for you, but this conversation that we was just having was so rich. I want to bring people in because I know that I'm not the only one that has a problem with resting. But okay, I want to go right there. But before we go there, let's slow down. Let's talk about mental health. What is mental health?
So simply put, mental wellness is the state of wellness that is inclusive of your emotions, your your thought life, and the part that many people understand or don't recognize is it is also inclusive of your social relationships. Mental
Mm.
health is significantly intertwined as it relates to your emotions, your thought life, and your relationships. Think about it. Your relationships are directly impacted by how you think and how you feel.
That's
And
good.
so, in essence, your thinking and your feeling impacts how you function.
Mm.
Makes sense?
That
You
makes
don't.
sense.
We have words like hangry. People who are hungry who show up angry. We have these experiences that we've become very accustomed accepting in other people, and we
Mm.
miss the fact that there's a mind body connection. The things that are going
Mm.
on in your mind connect in your body, and therefore wherever your body goes and whoever it interacts with is also impacted, right? Those
Yeah, yeah,
relationships.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so good. That's so good. Yeah, because we like to separate things, We like to just, especially when it's outward, because we can't see the mind, so we don't connect it to our outward behaviors and actions. So that angry, I want to eat, and anybody that get in my way before I eat, or oh, this is a good one. I haven't had my morning coffee. Okay.
Uh-huh,
So
uh-huh,
if you
uh-huh.
catch me before I had my morning coffee, okay, you gonna get another side of me.
Yeah,
That's a problem up here. That don't have nothing to do with that coffee.
right. Because
Okay.
you need something chemically to happen in order for you to show up
Busting
in
like you.
your,
Busting
yeah.
like you. Yes. Oh, that's so good. That's really good because I don't think that we put two and two together. And again, we become accustomed to those type of things. And the problem with becoming accustomed to them means that we never seek deeper. We never go deeper to try to figure out like what
Yes.
is that.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking
That's
good.
good. That's good. That's good. So
Yeah.
you hear that, ladies? Like you have to go deeper. Like these little attitudes and emotions and things that we have considered to be normal. Like we
Mhm.
have to start questioning where did that come from?
Exactly. Why do you need a morning coffee?
Why do we need morning coffee?
And
Where
when
does that
did that
even come
start?
from?
Because you wasn't born with an infusion of coffee. When God said it is good, He didn't say it is good after you have your coffee. I'm messing with somebody's stuff right now,
That
but
is
it's
so
the truth.
true. Come on, you taking away people excuses. Come on, let's deal with those
That's right.
excuses for us
Yes,
having to encounter you with a bad attitude in the morning.
right.
Like we taking away our excuses for you driving with road rage.
I mean, if you just go back to the coffee, a lot of times when people say that, they're saying they struggle to focus. They're struggling to wake up, to
Mhm.
feel ready for the day. And sometimes when people have had that practice for so long, they actually have a headache if they don't have coffee. So we're identifying some patterns of impact,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
That we just kind of glaze over because we can fix it with a quick 8-ounce cup of coffee. But those are significant impacts. If you can't focus, you don't feel rested, you actually have a headache. That's an addictive
Well,
indicator.
that's good because somebody just said, "What if you're sluggish in the morning until your cup of Joe?"
So then my question would become, when did that start happening? Because you didn't always have a cup of Joe. When you
Mm.
were 8, did you have a cup of Joe? When you were 5, did you have a cup of Joe? When did you start to use a cup of Joe to get you ready for the day?
Ooh, that's good. Are you messing with us? My goodness,
I
you're
love
messing.
y'all. I just want you to be healthy.
You're messing with us. You're messing with us because these are our crutches, right? These are those things that justify our behaviors. And
Mhm,
so, without those things, then we really have to take a look at okay, where did that come from?
mhm.
And I think that that's like one of the hardest things that we have to do as women is kind of like look ourselves in the mirror and start questioning, like, okay, there could be something wrong there. Now, here's the thing because of like we talked about earlier, our experiences and our rearing causes us to have false beliefs as it pertains to mental health and things like that. When we start questioning those things, one of the reasons that we stay away from them because we don't want to be identified as having any mental health issues. Now,
Right.
okay, I got issues. We don't mind having issues.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they're not mental health issues. Okay. We can have relational issues. We can have sistership issues. We can have job related issues.
You talking?
But we don't want mental health issues now because there's got to be something seriously wrong there if you have mental health issues. And I want to debunk that lie.
Let's do
That's
it.
not necessarily true. That's not true. What the lie is that you're crazy.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Let's deal with it, right?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I was trying to stay away from that. You crazy.
No, but that's what people don't want. That's what people are resisting. People are resisting the stigma of being crazy. And so when we talk about crazy, what we are really familiar with is the extreme distinction from normal. Many of us grew up with people that we either had in family or knew who actually might have fallen in the category. I had an alcoholic uncle who showed up as erratic. That's just crazy, Uncle. Mark. There may have been family members who had severe mental health issues who, struggled to engage in a civil way or be intelligible when they communicated, and years ago they were sent away. And so what we have learned to do over the years is anything that doesn't fall in the norm of our model of what things should look like, we've called it crazy. We have black and white thinking. You either healthy or you unhealthy. And the fact of the matter is, just like there's a spectrum of wellness physical bodies, there's a spectrum of wellness in our mental health. You can be thin and have hypertension. I mean, now we're seeing some of these really large plus size girls be incredibly flexible doing yoga, and it don't look like it works together. So there's this spectrum of wellness. Just because you can, stand on your head and do these things doesn't mean that you're healthy, because we know that the abdominal fat is not good for you. It is a huge indicator of health risk. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. What I'm getting at is this. We don't want to be deemed crazy. But we have more information than we used to have. That term has categorically been used by people who don't understand things. And oftentimes, especially in faith communities, when we don't understand something, we demonize it. Okay.
Oh, yes, that's so true. Lord,
but that doesn't mean that's the accurate explanation about what's happening. Years ago, someone who had a seizure might have been seen as being, oppressed or possessed because of the way it looks. It's a seizure. We now know it's a neurological disorder. Right? So we have more information than we used to have. I could talk about this particular thing all day long, but we have to talk about the fact that we don't tell the truth when it doesn't feel safe to tell the truth.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's so good, because that's the importance of creating safe spaces where people can be honest and transparent and really, really deal with what they're going through for real.
In reality, yes.
Oh, that's really, really good.
Think about children. Think
Oh,
about
that's
children in
good.
different families. There's some children, they'll tell their parents anything. They've done all kinds of things. They'll tell their parents anything. It doesn't mean that they'll never be disciplined, but there's been a culture created in that environment where they can tell their parents anything. And
Right,
then there
right.
are other children who they will lie about water being spilled on a carpet that dried. Okay, so
I like this. Let's talk about that because a lot of times, and I often tell talking to women about this, and as it pertains to children, a lot of times we will discipline our children for not being honest, but never creating a safe space for them to be honest. And you want to know, I mean, I lied because I was scared I was going to get a whooping. It wasn't
that's
safe.
right.
It wasn't
That's
safe.
right.
It wasn't safe.
That's
You
right.
know? And so that's good though, but I think that that's good because that is a wide spectrum. Like that goes to not only us having a safe space, because if we look at ourselves, we need a safe space. But then if you look at your children, the way you see yourself, well, the reason that they're not able to be transparent and honest is the same reason you're not, because you don't feel
Mm-hmm.
safe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens in domestic violence situations. Of
That's
course, we talk about that, is
mhm.
that you don't feel safe. And sometimes I think familiarity creates that unsafeness.
Sure. So there's other, safety is can be perceived. There are real threats to safety, and then there are some perceptions of safety. So you, as a parent, I know I want my children to tell me anything.
Mm-hmm,
Right
mm-hmm,
now,
mm-hmm.
and adults, they kind of tell me too much, but but you ever experience, a child might say, well, I was afraid to tell you something that they have told themselves they're going to get in trouble for, but they really weren't going to get in trouble for it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Their perception about what was going to happen was not accurate.
mm-hmm,
And so we can misperceive that an environment is safe. If you
mm-hmm.
grew up in a home where you got in trouble for everything, you may not tell your spouse the truth because you may think your spouse is going to recreate the same environment that you grew up in. Right? So safety is not always, it's not always accurately
Mm-hmm,
perceived.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Does
mm-hmm.
that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense because I think that that's going to help women identify why they have some issues that they deal with even in their marriage that didn't start from their marriage. You
Mhm.
don't, your husband didn't do anything from you, but why are you responding and reacting and have these certain fears and
Mhm.
concerns in your marriage
Mhm.
when
Mhm.
those things have not happened in the marriage, and some of those things start from childhood.
Mhm.
So this is, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, this is just so much. Lord have mercy. So our mental health, so the importance, so when we go back to like looking at the definition of mental health, the importance of mental health affects our interactions in our relationships. It affects our interactions on our day-to-day basis because our emotions, our attitudes, how much we're giving of ourselves, how much we have to give of ourselves is so important. So that's why I want to have this conversation, because our mental health is so important. And like I said before, as women, we will we will take care of our physical body. We will listen. We will pay thousands. This is okay. So, oh my gosh, it just hit me right. This is how unbalanced we are in our thinking concerning the importance of our mental health. Because at one time, I would say that there is a disparity of resources or finances as it pertains to our mental health, right? But it just hit me. We will pay thousands, honey, to get a snatched waist. We will pay thousands. We will pay hundreds of dollars to get a laid weave. And we won't spend the money to take care of our mental health. And we talked a little bit about why there's such an imbalance in the thought process behind our mental health. But
Mhm.
I want to talk about like what are some of the issues that we see when women don't take care of their mental health? What are some of the issues that we see? Some of the common issues that we see.
One of the things that stands out so significantly for me, because I deal with it every week repeatedly,
Mm,
that shows up relationally. Because you said it, you said, we okay with having issues, we okay with having relationship issues, but we don't want to be crazy. And it's like, well, maybe you're having relationship issues because there is something happening in your mental health. The
mm,
specific example that I'm thinking of are, and I know you can identify with this, most of us can, is the
mm,
woman who is seen as controlling. The woman who is seen as controlling, she has to control everything. If it's
mm,
not her way, it's the highway. And
mm,
that has been found in my office, excuse me. I have found every woman that has crossed my path in my office. So that means they're coming into counseling. So not necessarily every woman, but every woman that has
mhm,
come into my office who has been categorized as controlling,
mhm,
as anxiety.
mhm.
We manage the things that trigger anxiety by controlling.
Oh, we manage the things that, say that again. Say that
That
again.
trigger the things that
Uh-huh.
trigger our anxiety by
Mm-hmm.
controlling. When someone struggles with
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, they often are concerned about, is everything going to be okay? What if this goes wrong? What if I'm not understood? What if I make a mistake? The what if, the what if, the what if, the what if, catastrophizing, just fearful about things not being in line, um, or they rehearse the mistakes of the things from the past. I tell people all the time, anxiety is going to taunt you about what happened in the past and harass you about what can happen in the future.
Mm.
And so what that might look like in a relationship is, where you going? Why you when you told me you was going to the store? Well, you ain't tell me, why was you out there for 15 minutes? Who are you talking to? Who's that? Why you not telling me who that is? It's that. I asked you to put the toilet paper on this way. Why you ain't put the toilet paper on this way? I asked you to turn the lights off at 6:02. You turned the lights off at 6:07.
Oh, it get bad. Oh,
Now let me be fair.
oh.
Let me be
Okay,
fair. I want to be fair because
okay. Help us out. Help us out.
I have pulled on people's coffee, and I'm picking on people's, what we use. The word we use in our community is, I'm particular. That's the word I've been hearing a lot lately. Now I will say, somebody who's talking has been guilty. Okay, I will say coffee wasn't my thing, but a good old cookie, candy, donut, Okay, so I'm pulling out the stuff, but I'm going to say I've been plagued as well. I have a little more information and some more skills, so I'm not just picking on you. So go back to what was being said. Women who have continuously had challenges in relationships
Mm.
and have been categorized as controlling are very likely navigating anxiety. High functioning maybe, but still managing anxiety, and as a result have kind of built this persona about themselves that, this is who I am and this is how I am. And a lot of times
Mm.
we embrace characteristics and say that's who we are, but that's not who we are. It's how we have become because of an experience that we are having.
You are helping the people. Let me tell you, you are helping because that is so good. So many times you meet women who have experienced life, and because of life, they have created, like you said, this mask, this persona, this, I'm gangster, I'm independent, I'm strong, I'm a strong black woman, I don't need nobody, because of something that has happened or something they have observed in life that has caused them to say, okay, let me build this false sense of who I am so that I don't go through that same experience. And so, would you say that that is where a lot of these new found identities, especially for African American women? Now we're not just the ain't mad black woman. We are the controlling. We are the independent. We are the strong. We
We
are the
bossing.
bag. Come on.
We boss lady,
We
right?
bosses. We are. Is that where that comes from? Is that we've observed so many times? If you say yes, I have. I'm going to tell you my thought process behind that.
So there's a couple things. I I pulled the word back and then you laid it up for me to pull the word forward. You said we've been through things, life, some things. We don't call a spade a spade. We've been through trauma. We've been through trauma. And we don't like saying that. A lot of times people will say, she said, no, I'm logging on. No, don't go nowhere. She said, a lot of times, so listen, we're resilient people. And I'm not coming for that. I'm not trying to tear down resiliency. But we need to understand what we're talking about, okay? As a people, this is in general, before I get into any specifics that have happened in your personal life, as women of color in the United States of America, we have generational trauma.
Jeez.
Okay? I personally don't know many women, black mothers or women of color who are mothers raising children in this country who can say they don't have anxiety about their children's safety. That is a culturally related generational trauma. Okay, so let's just take that and put it on the side.
Okay.
Then those experiences have also contributed to other traumatic experiences. Many women have been sexually abused. First of all, many women sexually abused in their families. Second of all, many women sexually abused in their families of origin, mother, father, brother, sister. Okay, so then we have socioeconomic challenges, not having enough food to eat, being homeless. We have all of these things that happen to plague our community at higher rates. Okay? This is not to blame. And here's where the disruption happens. It is not to excuse. You are not excused for showing up poorly or for masking because it has happened. Okay? We have learned to survive. We have learned to survive. So part of what you're seeing and part of what you're asking is that we have learned to survive. We had to do some things in our families generationally to survive, for the race to survive. Okay? The things that happened that had to be done. And unfortunately, many of those things continue to become intergenerationally transmitted, even though today they don't apply. Okay? So there are skills and patterns and thought processes and belief systems that have been passed down because of what it required for us to survive, that we have identified and personalized and ratified Okay?
Mm, mm.
What we will do, we will take something that is meant to harm us and we'll turn it around. They use the N word like that all the time, the B word like that all the time. So I'm going to take the power from you by making it
Jeez.
my own. Okay?
Jeez.
I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but we weren't supposed to be eating chitlins and pig feet. We weren't supposed to be eating, those things were thrown at us because that's what scraps. We learned how to make it a cuisine because we're resilient. Okay?
We are resilient.
We're resilient. So that has happened not only socioeconomically, but relationally. It has happened with how we see ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It has happened with how in this country, our men were pulled from their homes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Women couldn't get any aid if a man was in the home. So we have systemic things that
Wow.
we're trying to act like, didn't exist. Like there is systemic, it's still happening systemically where our men are pulled from the homes. Different reasons
Wow.
now, but they
Wow.
are. So now let's shift to the woman. If
Uh-huh.
that is happening, she has to do it all her own. She
Mm-hmm.
has to figure out how to be resilient. She has to figure out how to be independent and not collaborative. She has to figure out how to cook the bacon, go grocery shopping, prep the food, clean the dishes, feed the children. She has to. He's not there.
Hmm.
But here's the problem. She didn't want to. She didn't want to. She
Mm-hmm.
had to adapt. Now, those things are things we see and learn. If that's what you saw and learned, you never had an example of how to do it differently, and you value the result because those were strong women
Mm-hmm.
produced other strong women and children. You
Yeah.
value the result. You dare not tear down that woman. You're going to honor
Mm-hmm.
her. So if I come in and say, that's not helpful today. The woman who taught you how to do all that didn't teach you how to be a soft landing for your husband.
Ooh, Lord Jesus.
Okay? So we have these things we've learned. We have
Mm-hmm.
some things we've not learned. And we
Mm-hmm.
have to be honest enough to recognize that what we've learned is not necessarily producing what we want.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, the same way we would take the power out of the B word, we'll take the power out of a man not wanting to be in the home with us because we controlling everything because that's all we know how to do.
Dang.
So I don't need a man. I can. Yes, I can go to the store. I can work. I can have businesses. I can manage my household. I can go grocery shopping. I can prep. I can take care of my kids. I can go run all the laundry. I can take care of the landscaping. I can take my car to the shop. Yes, I can. I don't want to. And when we get to the place where we can tell the truth, that's not what we really want, and we haven't figured out what we're doing that may not be helping us get what we want, take the
Mm.
mask off,
Mm.
then we can build some new skills. It's scary to be vulnerable.
Mm.
And on the same side, if we haven't taught the women, right,
Mm-hmm.
to work collaborative, we probably haven't taught the men how to be collaborative. So now you don't even know how to, you try it a couple of times and you don't have a good fit. So you just toss them all out the window.
Now we sad and lonely.
And the person who's raising him, because the man wasn't in the house anyway, is the same woman as being independent. So she probably emasculating the one she raised. Now I'm being overly generalizing. I'm generalizing extremely. for
Yeah,
the
but it's making sense.
for the point of understanding that there are patterns, some of which are intergenerational,
Mm-hmm.
some
Mm-hmm.
of which are directly connected to trauma,
Mm-hmm.
more direct trauma
Mm-hmm.
in our actual days of living.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for us to start telling the truth about whether or not we like our results.
Ooh.
Do you have peace with yourself when all the lights go out, all the social media is turned off, nobody's at the door, you're not hosting, you're not serving, you're not caretaking to the children? When it's time to lay your head down
Mm-hmm.
for the night, do you have peace with yourself and your fruit? And
Lord
that's
have mercy.
the question.
That's the question. That's the question. Now, okay. Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
I gave you a lot. I'm
You
sorry.
just laid it on us. Oh my goodness. But ultimately, that is the question. But here's the thing. How do we get to a place where we can peel back the layers and be honest about the results that we have? Because like you said, we have glamorized, the independent, strong, black woman. And so even if we try to think about, well, the ultimate result is, like Trina said, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm wore out. But in the morning, I got to get back up and put her on, because at the end of the day, she's gonna be the one that gets the credit. She's gonna be the one that everybody looks to, and everybody is inspired by and motivated. And like you said, like these bosses and this hustling mentality, and we try to secure the bag and we try to do all these things, um, because, like you said, generationally and culturally,
Yes.
um, we've experienced some things and watched some things and observed some things relationally in the, I would say, as the male female dynamics, especially African American, begin to break down.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of women, especially young women, observed that and said, that's not going to be me.
Right.
I'm not gonna go through what I saw my mama go through. I'm not. I'm
Yes.
not. I'm finna get my own. I'm finna secure my own bag. And so we've lost the balance, like you said. Like, okay, it's okay. It's okay to be degreed. It's okay to be able to, cook the bacon, fry it up, and all this good stuff. But it's okay to not want to also.
That's right. That's right. So I
So how
think
do
it,
we get there?
how do we get to the place of being okay?
Yeah, okay with saying that,
Yeah.
because that's not the woman, unfortunately, in the society we live in, the culture we live in, that's not the woman that gets the credit, that gets the accolade. It's the boss, it's the hustler, it's the entrepreneur, it's the woman that's
Listen,
gonna secure the bag.
listen. Turn your social media off, honey. Turn it off because they
Mm.
miserable. Half of them are miserable. A lot of them are overweight. Don't get me started. Okay, so um,
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
I'm so sick now. I'm a plus size girl, but I'm working on it. Okay. But I am
Tell us.
so sick of looking at my high achieving, anxious sisters who eat their nerves away. I'm sick of it. So I'll come back to that maybe. Your question is, how do we get to a place where it's okay? So here's the thing, at the root of what we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
is fear.
Mm.
At the root of what we're talking about, being afraid to fail, being afraid to be let down, being afraid to be cheated on, being afraid of not having enough, being afraid of being controlled,
Mm-hmm.
abused, being afraid of not being accepted. Where it's fear.
Mm.
And so my answer to the spirit-filled woman,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
okay,
Talk to
is
us. Mm-hmm.
that it starts in your spirit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the word says be anxious for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we, and now and he talks about it, quite regularly now. And so
Uh-huh.
that means he knows the likelihood of being anxious is there. He being the Lord, our
Mm-hmm.
Father,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
right? So we have to be able to, in our quiet time, remember I said, where you can answer yourself about how well are you in peace. When you can answer that question and be honest,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not at peace. Wherever your peace is disrupted, that's what has to be dragged to the light of the Father.
Mm.
Okay? That's right. That's what has to be dragged to the light of the Father. So remember we said, we'll clean it up. We won't make it up. Child, I put a little eyeshadow up there and fix up these eyebrows, put a little lip gloss on and look pale on the light. We will clean up something real good.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we know how
Uh-huh.
to decorate our discomfort. We know how to
Uh-huh.
do it. So nobody knows.
Uh-huh.
We got
Uh-huh.
to do that. But that's what Adam and Eve did in the garden. They messed up and they went and got fig leaves,
Cover it up. Mm-hmm.
right? They went and got fig, but God still knew. He was like, "Who told you that?" That's what he asked him. Like, where'd you get that from?
Mm.
And so so we have to tell the truth about the fact that we're anxious for something,
Uh-huh.
and then we
Uh-huh.
have to be honest with God about that, which we're
Uh-huh.
hesitant to do because He's now going to hold us accountable to His word. Why are you anxious? When I said I take care of the birds, how is it that I am able to take care of the birds? They don't worry about what they're going to eat and what they don't worry, but you are worried
Mm.
when the angels are asking, who is man that you are mine? The angels know who you are, but you
Uh-huh.
don't know who you are.
Mm.
So the answer for the spirit-filled woman is
Mm-hmm.
to be
Mm-hmm.
able to tell the truth about where she really is spiritually. Many times we pick up stuff God never told us to pick up.
That's so
Many
true.
times we help people God never told us to help because it's good, but everything good ain't God.
That's good. Say that again. Mm.
Everything good ain't God. And
Mm.
I tell all my sisters who are tired, because this is who I serve.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Tired, you're weary. His scripture says not to be. And he said that his burden is easy, his yoke,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what he said. It's
That's what
light.
he said. Uh-huh.
It's light. So if you're tired and heavy and weary,
Mm-hmm.
and he said he wasn't going to give that to you, then I know you picked up something you wasn't supposed to pick up.
Jesus. My Lord. My
And so
Lord.
now in your quiet time, you got to tell the truth about what you picking up. What are you picking up that God didn't tell you to pick up? Are you trying to be God in somebody else's life? Because we do that too.
Dang.
Are we busy in ourselves so we don't have to feel the discomfort? Are we distracting ourselves? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we picking up more things to make ourselves feel more valuable than we feel now because we don't realize how valuable God said we were to begin with? So these are natural things that happen in the life of the believer because they're not in tune and
Mm-hmm.
align with what God said. Many people are busying because they don't really know what their purpose is. The kingdom of God has really struggled at helping people learn, excuse me, not the kingdom. Let me back up and put it where
Mm-hmm.
it belongs. Many men and women of the cloth who have been
Uh-huh.
responsible
Uh-huh.
for
Uh-huh.
spiritually leading people have not taught people how to find out who they are in God, but they have taught people how to serve them personally in God for God.
Oh, don't step on no toes. Don't step on no toes. My gosh.
Many
That's good.
people are building their identities around what they do in institutions, religious institutions, and not what God told them to do. Listen, when
Jesus.
you do what God tells you to do, it is often lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Esther, Noah. I mean, we could
Mm-hmm.
go down, 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 down. Let's see. As we say, acknowledging, saying, are we in agreement with this? No, that we taught that God had given us. That's correct. Yes. Okay. When you acknowledge a thing, you're not coming into agreement. You're just saying a fact is the fact.
Uh-huh.
If you hungry, you say you hungry. God didn't call
That's
you
so
hungry.
true.
He didn't call you hungry. He said all your need is supplied. He will supply all your need. You're not coming into agreement. You're just recognizing you're hungry. You need to go do something about that.
Right, right,
You
right.
drag the fact to the light. There's facts
Oh,
and then
driving
there's God's
life.
truth.
That's good.
Okay? There are facts and then there's God's truth. When you
Good.
recognize a thing, that's inconsistent with what God said, you drag it to God and ask him to illuminate his truth. And then you
Mm,
study and you meditate and you confess his truth.
mm.
So
That's so good.
recognizing a thing is not coming into agreement. This is what I was referencing when I said we have often been taught things that have not helped us get healthy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have often been taught things that have not been healthy. Now, let me clear up the whole psychology thing because in the body of Christ, there are still some folks that see counseling as, the elevation of self. And that's the reason why a lot of people have torn down counseling because you're
Mm.
edifying yourself above God. That's that's not. Now there are some models and some people who practice that way.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
if you're a believer and you're concerned about that, find your Holy Ghost filled therapist. We're out there. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Licensed. That's,
License. Say
that's
that.
my that's my pet peeve. But however, acknowledging the thing is important. It
Mm-hmm.
is what happened in the garden. He
Mm.
said they said we're naked. We went and put fig leaves because we're naked. They acknowledged that they did something. They had a reality that was contrary
Yeah.
to what God designed. They were already naked. Right?
That's
So, yes, acknowledging is the first step. You got to drag that thing to the light because he can see it anyway.
that's
But
good.
he's such a gentleman, he gonna let you sit there until you're ready.
Yes, he is. That's so good. I always say this: you can't conquer what you're not willing to confront.
Yep,
You're not going to be able to confront it unless you confess it.
that's it.
So it's very important that we acknowledge where we are. And that is, I mean, that is the beginning of taking off the mask. If we don't take off, if we don't acknowledge where we are, and I think that is whew, that is a heavy, but a deep thought that we need to uh, ponder on, even as we from this day on, even as we prepare to sleep at night, like really ask yourself, are you happy with the results you got today?
Yeah.
Are you really happy with the results? Because this is where we're going to get into the conversation. And I know somebody asked earlier, like, where do you find balance? And this is where we're going to get into the conversation that we was having before we started this live. And that is because when you're not happy or at peace with the results that you have, you generally don't rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So because at the end of the day, right, when God did a thing in Genesis, then he rested.
Yeah.
He
But he
rested.
said it was good.
It was good.
It was
Okay.
good.
And so, but at the end of the day, sometimes we leave feeling like, okay, I didn't finish this. And so we don't focus on what was good. We don't focus on what we did do. We focus on what we did not accomplish, What we still have to do is left over. Listen, I can wake up in the morning and I can, in the middle of the night, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, my team will wake up to a whole list of what we still got to do. It just, and I'd be like, literally, I'm that person, and I'll be honest that I have to find balance because I will go, and even past tired,
Mm-hmm.
I will still continue to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
never asking myself because I don't have time to ask myself because I'm going.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you happy with the results? And I feel guilty. Sometimes I feel so guilty for it because I'm like, okay, you haven't even taken time to really process what God just did.
Yes.
to like really, I feel sometimes I feel so guilty, and I'm just being transparent because there are times when God will move and God will do certain things, and because I'm focused on the next thing, or like we talked about before, you don't want to stop because if you stop, you're gonna feel non-productive or ineffective, and stuff got to get done, and if you don't do it, of course, it ain't gonna get done, so you got to keep going. That's the lie we tell ourselves.
It
And
sure is.
so, and so, yeah, so I find myself feeling guilty because I don't take in, really breathe in what God just did.
There you go. That was good.
And that's a problem. And I recognize that. And so I don't rest. And I have to find, and I know I have to find balance. And I know I keep telling myself that, but somebody asked, like, where do we find that balance at? Because even when I remember I was talking to one of my mentors, and she said, okay, listen, the next time you come back, I want you to tell me who you went out to eat with and you didn't talk about TNST. Okay. Okay. That was difficult. That was really difficult. Okay. Like, what did you do outside of TNST?
How did you live? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about living, not serving.
I don't even know.
Right.
I don't know. I remember one time my apostle gave me an assignment, and he said, for this whole month, I want you to practice telling people no.
Mm-hmm.
I did not miss about that whole month. I did not, because I had become so accustomed to helping people. I had become so accustomed to helping people, and so. So I think Samantha is saying what it is. It's hard to speak outside of purpose. So when you're like so driven by purpose, and this is where we need your help at, Doc. Because when you're so driven by purpose, it's almost like if you're not dealing with purpose,
I get you.
not being purposeful.
So yes. Okay. So this so layered. And hey, Samantha, I'm looking forward to meeting you one day because I know you're the friendship lady. I've been watching you. It's just difficult, right? So part of what you're talking about is self-compassion. And I love our no is anointed. I love that. Yes, I'm gonna have to use that one, Katana. Part of what you're talking about is self-compassion. We have been socialized and conditioned to produce. We are producers. God's commandment was for production, right? But we have to find a balance around producing, as God said, and producing because we have attached identity to it. Because now you're on the line of idolatry of self.
Jesus.
Because they're in the scripture. Remember, I can't pull it. I have to pull it up. It's Matthew. It's in the 20s, I believe. He says, "Depart from me, for I knew you not." And he's like, "Wait a minute! I cast out devils in your name. I know you."
Jeez.
This is what delivered me. You mean I could be out here doing all this in the name of God, and He still tell me to go sit down somewhere because He didn't know who I was?
Jesus.
Mary and Martha, if you haven't read the book, Having a Mary's Heart and a Martha's Word, you might want to get it. It's a good book study.
So what's the name of the book?
Having a Mary's Heart in a Martha's World by Joanna Weaver.
Having a Mary's Heart in a Martha's World.
Because you know those two sisters, it was one was tending to Jesus and one was at his feet. You know, one was cleaning and serving and doing, and one was at his feet.
Having a Mary's Heart. Let me put that
Martha's World. So there's this balance between our identity being, you know, validated by works, and hold on one second. Shh. That little girl. Okay. Yes. Thank you. I'm on a live.
Praise the Lord.
It's Tiana.
Hey,
she come and say hi. Come on.
Hey, sugar. How are you?
So we have to learn self-compassion. Okay, it's not something we've been taught. We haven't been taught that. We've been taught keep it going, do. We've been socialized to give. We've been told that taking care of ourselves is selfish. Not right. So I love teaching people how to say no, because there's a lot of ways to say no. Not just no. There's a lot of ways to say no. I love it. Thank you, Vanessa. So you said, how do we find balance?
How do we find that? Well, I have a question, because you just said something. Hold on, you're not going to get away with this. My God. So how do we separate this purpose from? How do we ensure that this purpose don't become idolatry?
No, remember what I said. Remember what I said. Remember what I said. So many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And thy name have cast out devils. In thy name done many wonderful works. And he still said, depart from me, for I knew you not. So how? Okay. Remember I said, if you heavy and you tired, you picked up something he didn't tell you to pick up? Because he said he's not going to give you more than you can bear. Some of us can bear a little bit more than others, but only you know what you can bear. Right? Okay. So the other part that's important to remember, many people fail to realize that physical rest, actually makes you more productive.
Oh God, help me understand that concept. My God.
Your body and your brain needs the time to recharge. Think about it. When you're go, you are more prone to make mistakes than when you're well rested. Don't give me anything to read after 12 o'clock in the afternoon. If you want me to prove something, I need it in the morning. I used to tell people, don't schedule supervision after 3. If you do it after 3, you need to bring chocolate. Because my circadian rhythm, my sharpness is in the morning. Good job. My sharpness is in the morning. I'm on it in the morning. Now, some people are ready to go at night. Okay? You need to work around your strengths. If you know that you need 6 hours of sleep, I need 6. If you know you need 8, get 8 so that you can be the best at what you're doing. We're talking about self-care, and self-care starts in your spirit. It starts in your spirit, and then it spans out into the rest of the things that you touch. Self-care is not bubble baths, roses, weave, nails, pedicure. It can be vacation, but self-care is giving yourself whatever it is that you need to perform optimally for your demands. What you are scheduled to do on a day-to-day basis and what I'm scheduled to do on a day-to-day basis are different. What I need and what you need is going to be different, but you are entitled to whatever it is that you need to perform optimally. We are still supposed to operate in excellence.
Mm-hmm.
So I know if I have more than 20 some odd people scheduled to see for therapy in a week, I'm going to be behind in my notes. I'm probably going to have typos in my notes. I'm probably going to be messing up my supervision schedule. I'm probably going to be not making meals at home. I'm probably not going to be exercising like I should. I'm probably going to be eating on the fly because I don't have the balance I need to juggle the demands of my life. And oftentimes we miss the fact that because we're doing something mentally, our work might be mental. Maybe you're a content creator. Maybe you are an accountant and you're not lifting bricks or in landscaping. You don't realize that you're exhausted from the mental expenditure. It's
Mm-hmm.
still energy.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to learn how to give ourselves what it is that we need. So you don't find balance, you prioritize it.
Oh, Lord have mercy. You don't
What
find
does that
balance, you
look like?
prioritize it.
What does that look like? Put margin in your calendar.
Mm.
If you have 15 clients, whatever your clients are,
Mm-hmm.
spread them out. Don't see 15 clients in 2 days if you can see 15 clients in 4 days. Spread them out. Put buffer appointments in your calendar. If you're running from you got an 8 o'clock, you got 8 to 8:45, and then you got a 9 to a 10:15, and then you got a 10:30 to a 1 o'clock, and then you got a 1:45. You don't have no room for error. You don't have room to breathe. You barely have room to go to the bathroom. You're eating on the fly. You are not really processing the information. We need time to think. We need time to innovate. We need time to create. We need time to breathe. Our brain is an organ, just like your lungs, your liver, your kidneys. Your brain needs rest. Sleep is one of the best things you can do to get yourself back in balance. But if we tell the truth, like I know the people who come in my office, many people don't sleep well at all. They don't have good sleep routine. So let's talk about that. You said, how do you get balance? I said, you don't find it, you prioritize it. How do you prioritize it? Stretch out your commitments. Create space in your calendar so you can breathe, so you can eat, so you can color, so you can go to the bathroom, so you can laugh, so you can, and so people can actually enjoy you. Look, if you so passion, you might not even be somebody people want to be because they might feel intimidated by what you're doing.
Oh my God, I'm people. Me too, Tracy. I'm people too. I'm people.
So you would schedule some time, put some time in your calendar to do nothing, to be able to recuperate from all the other things in your calendar. Put some time in there. Okay. Yes. Now that's what I'm going to your sleep regimen. However many hours of sleep you need, calculate what time you should go to bed and what time you want to wake up. And an hour before you want to be asleep, turn off all your technology. Look at that face. Look at that face. Put your technology needs to go to bed an hour before you do. Your technology needs to go to bed an hour before you do.
So, question:
Yes, go ahead.
who determines how much sleep you need?
You know, most of us know. When you wake up, you know how you feel when you are well rested. So I only really need 6. If I lay back down, I might dilly dally. I might not really go all the way down. If I go all the way down, I've probably been running a lot. But a lot of times it's between 6 and 8 that people need. How much sleep do you need to pop up and feel like, yes, I'm ready to go? Woohoo! Like, how much sleep is that?
Well,
Yeah, You don't want to say it because you're not getting it, but that's a
because
different
I
story.
think okay, this may not be normal. All right. But I feel like I can operate on 2 hours.
You conditioned yourself to do that. That's not true. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You conditioned yourself to do that, but that's not optimal.
So how do okay, I hope I'm helping some people because I know I am not the only one. Okay.
You're
So,
not. I just had somebody in my office a couple of weeks ago who told me she only need 3, and I told her the same thing. That's not true. You conditioned yourself to do that. You've learned to function like that, but that is not true. It's not optimal.
and I function as a pleasant person on it.
I'm sure you also
I don't
conditioned
even need
yourself to do
coffee.
that too. You conditioned yourself to be who you are supposed to be.
Okay, so how do I okay, let me tell you what I've been doing. I
Yeah.
started last week. Okay. How do I turn it off?
The
Okay.
brain is running, right? That's what we talk
Yes.
about, that
Okay.
brain.
So I have been practicing this thing, okay, because I remember this assignment that we were given, right? Now, honestly, there was a time when I used to do this great. I mean, it was so necessary. And I don't know where I got to the place where I don't know, it's still necessary, but I don't do it. So now I'm finding myself trying to turn it off. So I sit, right? Or I lay with nothing.
Uh-huh.
No TV, no music, no nothing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I just focus on God, right?
I love it. I love it.
Mm-mm.
You can't do it now.
I try. Okay. It take me a little longer to
Uh-huh.
get there.
Uh-huh.
But in my mind just be going, I have to be, come on
So
back,
yeah,
guys. Come on
so
back under subjection.
yes,
You
because you
know?
got a lot going on. See, now here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you had time built in your schedule to think about those things, you probably wouldn't be thinking about those things when you needed to go to sleep. You haven't built any thinking time in your schedule, have you? I bet you if I ask for your planner right now, show me your online calendar, ain't nothing in there say think. It might be content creation, meet with this person, go over here and get that, order this, tell hubby to do this. I got to pick this up. You got all these things on the to-do list, but not think.
Because it seems like I think in the middle of the night. At 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm
Because
like,
that's when you're still. You're still in the middle of the night. That's when everything gets shut off. You're not on the go, 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 go. So that's when your brain thinks. Your brain, first of all, let me clear up this. You never stop thinking. You're even when you sleep, your brain is thinking. So, but we're specifically talking about the things on your to-do list. That's what we're talking about. You're telling me that at night when you slow it down, your brain is still processing all the things that you're responsible for. Now I get it. You have a major, okay, responsibility, and what you do is magnificent. And I understand that your heart is to do it to the glory of God, and you do it with excellence. I am not coming for that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I have seen your work. I honor you for what you do, but I'm telling you, you can do it better when you're rested. I'm telling you that you will run out of steam, and you will not endure as long as God has designed for you to endure if you don't change. And what good are you to anybody? God forbid something terrible happen because you haven't taken care of yourself, because you've been go, 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 go. So I'm asking you to plug some time in your calendar to think. It doesn't hurt to do that every day. You can do it in the minute in the beginning of the morning when you wake up. So when you go to lay down today, because you're
Uh-huh.
gonna go lay down today, I want
Uh-huh.
you to get your notepad, your journal, your book, whatever you write in, your planner, whatever you're gonna keep accountable, and all the thoughts that come up, all the great things that come up, I want you to write them there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then start focusing on God. So do write all those great things down. Don't think and strategize and don't plan and coordinate. Just write all the great things down.
Okay.
And then, yes, you need a bedtime. We get into it. And then think on God. And then think on God. And if it's
Okay.
and so
Uh-huh.
in the morning, you can set your intention. When will you think about this thing that you wrote down? This some of the things you're thinking about probably don't even need your mental energy.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them could be, delegated. Some of them fix themselves overnight. Some of those things are just irrelevant. They don't need, but at night, your brain is like, what about this? And what about you trying to catch it all? Trying to catch it all. And listen, you're not alone. You're not alone. I have this conversation multiple times a day. You are not alone. I'm actually working on a project to help people sleep. So stay tuned.
Whoa.
Um, so because this is
I need to be
happening.
right there.
Because this is happening. This is a real thing. People's minds are on fire.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the task that I just told you about writing it down, I call it a brain dump. Just get it all out your head. Don't edit it. Don't censor it. Don't worry about how neat it looks. None of that. Just get it all out your head as fast as you can and then
Okay.
shift your attention to what you want to be thinking about. And that is giving your mind and your body a restful sleep.
Okay. I'm doing this before I go to bed.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. Now, I'll give you a couple other things to do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The brain needs reduced stimulation, which is why I said put your technology away an hour before.
Mm-hmm.
The technology is feeding you things to think about.
Dang.
So you got to put it away. Give it a bedtime. An hour before you want to go to bed, shift your lighting in your house. Shift your temperature. Program your thermostat to make it a couple degrees cooler.
Y'all write this stuff down because this is
Uh-huh.
good.
I know you like to shop. Go get you some really comfy, some of the most comfy PJs you can find. Now, if you don't use PJs, that's okay too. You can take them off, but because not everybody sleeps with PJs. But if you don't like PJs, then make your sheet get the highest thread counts you can find.
Uh-huh.
That
Uh-huh.
will be comfortable for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has to be comfortable for you. You want to
Mm-hmm.
manage your air quality, right? Good breathing is helpful for your sleep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you want a good a good nighttime routine. So take all that great makeup off, a nice facial routine, put your hair up, whatever you do with your hair. I don't know if you take it off, if you put it up, whatever you do, because I don't have any. So whatever you do with it, do what you do with it. Okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So you want a nice routine. You want a nice routine that you do every night, no matter where you go. If you're in a hotel, you can do it because you're telling your body, it's the signal that you're telling your body we're getting ready for sleep. Okay. So you cut
Mm-hmm.
in your stimulation, you cut down, turn your lights down, make it a little cooler, manage the lighting. Maybe you have darkening in my house in the daytime when I wake up, I open the blinds. After it gets dark, like I need to go close my back door blinds now. So we adjust the lighting. Think about some of the things you don't realize actually impact you. When you come into my office,
Mm-hmm.
my lights are down. I don't have bright lights in my office because it's calming. Okay. So you
I
may
turn
want
my light up. I
at
turn my
night.
light at night. I turn my phone on the
No,
highest lighting.
put it away.
I
Put it
can't see
away.
the vibrant colors when they be dim.
Yeah, you don't need to see the vibrant colors in the night. You need to see the vibrant colors in the morning.
Okay, can you read? Okay, so if you turn everything
Yeah.
off, you can read.
So you turn your lights down, but you can read.
Okay.
You can read. Reading is another way to kind of, something relaxing, not nothing that's gonna get you all agitated.
Who said
don't
I can read? Okay, so
don't
I'm gonna
don't read the grant proposal. We're not, no, not that. Don't read email. No, no. Maybe it's a romance novel or something. I don't know. You may, when you're ready to sleep, some sounds. They have night sounds. They have sounds of birds, crickets. Sometimes I open the window, so I don't need it. I don't have a problem with sleep, but if I did, when I did, I would open the window and listen to the crickets. I like the sound of the night. I like the
Mhm.
sound of the water waves. They have sound machines that you could do that for. My trick of all tricks, when I struggle with sleep, I
Mhm.
turn on that Bible app and I put on the audio and let that man talk me to sleep.
That's so true. He
Because
would
he's
definitely
just
put you to sleep.
monotone. And
He will
then
put you to
he
sleep.
be gat, and then she be gat. And I just let him put me to sleep. But
I'm gonna do
ultimately,
these. I'm gonna do this because I think that it's important that I get sleep, and I want to be at my optimal. I want to. I want to be at my optimal best, and I think I'm gonna try this 6 hours of sleep and see what happens.
yes. Now,
But I don't have no scheduled time. I don't have scheduled time to think. I don't have scheduled time, to sleep. I just follow.
what's
There's
your
something
husband
wrong.
doing what's he doing? Okay, what time he go to bed?
He got to bed like 10,
That's a
9.
good time. Try to go to bed with him one night.
I do get in the bed, but then he'd be like, "Can you turn that light down on that phone?"
Yeah, because he want to go to sleep. He
I,
wants
I'm,
to go to sleep.
it's important. I realize it's important. It's just there's some things that you said early on in this conversation that I have to come to grips with, and that is I have to be able to separate this purpose from myself and not feeling like I don't have enough time in the day to do everything. And so while I'm sleeping, I can be doing some stuff. And so I try to, what I do is I find myself working on the least amount of sleep possible,
Mhm.
So if I got to fall asleep for an hour, sometimes I fall asleep for an
Yes.
hour.
So we often tell ourselves that we don't have enough time, we haven't done enough. That goes back to the self compassion I was talking about before. And we wouldn't say that to somebody else in our shoes. We wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
And so self compassion is really about giving yourself the same amount of compassion you would give somebody else in your shoes.
I'm a whole hypocrite out here in these streets.
Where many servants struggle with doing what they teach. Many, many. It's honestly, to be frank, Tiana, the whole idea of being a hypocrite is what caused me
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to change.
Mm.
I used to say I ain't therapeutic at home because I was raising kids. I was tired, child. I was tired. I ain't got time to be therapeutic. You gonna do what I say when I say. I was quick with the backhand. I was, I was a black mama. And
Uh-huh.
unfortunately, that's what I associated with. That's not healthy,
Yeah.
but that's what I
Yeah.
did. And I realized that that was hypocritical. Like, why would my clients experience me differently than my children? Why does the world get a better version of me than the people who are doing life with me?
Mm.
So it forced me to really learn some new things. There's such a thing called compassion fatigue. Have you heard that before?
Compassion fatigue.
Uh-huh.
Mm-mm. What is that?
It's when you have been serving so much in the capacity that it has worn you out.
Mm.
And you now become less pleasant, less tolerant, more irritable. And many times, women in serving, not just women, but that's who we're talking to today.
Mm-hmm.
Many times, women in serving, capacities find themselves in that situation where they have served so much that like they're not. You ever meet the teacher that that she just need to retire. She used to be real
Yes, Lord.
good. Used to be
Yes,
real
yes,
good. Just need to
yes.
retire. Don't know how to let go.
I mean,
And
people like that, they just need to retire.
just need to retire. And
Oh,
really it started out well,
right.
but it wore on them and they became harder. Think about it. When you're a compassionate person, you're soft. And the
Mm-hmm.
more navigate that without appropriate supports and good boundaries and good self-care,
Mm-hmm.
you become tougher. The
Mm-hmm.
things that you are exposed to, the things I can hear today
Mm-hmm.
versus what I used to be able to hear are
Mm-hmm.
not the same. I have a higher capacity because I've heard so many hard things. And so
Mm-hmm.
what that means is that I have to be careful that I don't minimize what you tell me because I've
Mm-hmm.
heard so many hard things.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very key. This is really key in our community. If you've been through a divorce and you've been through rape and you a single mother and you got 3 jobs and a business, I can't come and cry to you because my baby daddy didn't pay child support 1 month. You're gonna be like, girl, this is how we do.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. We was doing this Mother's Day thing and we saw some stories. We saw some stuff. And a couple of times I had to go back and say, okay, wait a minute. What is a hardship for one person,
That's it.
may not be a hardship for that
That's
person, but
right.
doesn't lessen the hardship.
That's right. Because it's easy to be like, girl, it ain't nothing. Do you know? Because we'll swap them stories easy, but we shouldn't.
But we do
So
it all the time, all
yeah.
the time. Lord have mercy. This
So
is
we've
so,
been all over the map, but I want to make sure I'm giving you what you asked for.
yes, yes,
One of
yes,
the things
yes,
you
yes.
asked me for was how do we find balance? I told you don't
Mm-hmm.
find it, you prioritize it.
Uh-huh.
One of the things you asked me about was what does the mental health issue kind of look like for our women? Give you an example of that, and one of the big ones that show up in our community is anxiety, and oftentimes that looks like a controlling woman. Now, again, these are very significant generalizations,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm putting things out there that I know are common so people can look at themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Another one of the things that come off oftentimes, you made reference to the angry Black woman. And a lot of times, when we show up as angry and irritable and intolerant, I ain't got time for that. A lot of times, those women are actually fighting depression.
Ooh.
Um, and so, what things look like in our community and what we think they look like are not always the same.
Mm.
So this is what I would say. You know if you're satisfied with the life the way you're living it or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you are not satisfied,
Mm-hmm.
just get help.
Mm-hmm.
Many people run to coaches
Mm-hmm.
because there's no stigma. However, 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 it's very likely we're talking about a mental health
Mm-hmm.
topic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Being better equipped with
Mm-hmm.
utilizing a healthcare provider
Right.
who
Right.
will allow you to use your insurance,
Mm-hmm.
be a good steward over your finances,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I will pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a coach, and then not have a copay of $30. But
That's a whole nother story.
I'm gonna be good. All right, I'm letting all my little pet peeves out tonight.
This is good because it's truth. You tell the truth.
I'm
You
trying to
tell the
stay
truth.
focused. I'm trying to
We're
stay
removing
focused.
our excuses. You're removing our excuses, okay? We ain't got
Listen,
none.
if you are tired all the time, you have no energy, you're struggling to keep relationships together, you're not enjoying life the way you would like to enjoy life, you can't focus like you want to focus, you need something to help you focus, whether that be coffee, sugar, marijuana, something else.
They give out marijuana cards like I'm sorry.
I'm trying to behave. So here's the thing. I say this regularly. It's not so much the what, it's the why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There was a moment where we was talking about, I mean, it was a big thing. People were out here just divided about oh shucks. What's the leaf? Mm, burning
Oh, sage.
sage, child. Yes. They
Uh-huh.
was out here upset. Just the people was divided about burning sage.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it's not the what, it's the why.
Mm.
Because listen, if you got a diffuser and you got some sage oil, you put the oil in the diffuser and you still use the sage. Because if you just like the smell of sage,
That's good. Because we put it on our chicken. We
right,
still use the sage.
you're eating the sage. But if you are using sage specifically for some ancestral reasons, then
Uh-huh.
you have to ask yourself, is that in alignment with your belief
Right.
system,
Right.
not
Right.
mine?
Right. Right.
Your belief system, is that in line with what the faith system you subscribe to if you are a believer? It's not the what, it's the why. Wine. I got some in here
That's
right now.
good.
I got some in here right now. It's Mother's Day. I got a bottle for Mother's Day. I don't even drink. I don't even drink. Okay, but somebody gave me a bottle, so we opened it. Okay, it's not the what, it's the why. Are you drinking because you are trying to calm your nerves? Are you drinking because you enjoy the taste of wine? It's a celebration, it's a family gathering, and it's not a big deal. Are you drinking because it makes you it makes you more confident to socialize? Or you drinking because y'all just had a major accomplishment and you celebrating with a toast?
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like not being in control, and I don't like the taste of alcohol. But
Mm-hmm.
when my paddling group has a race, at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the race, we do a toast. I take a little thing. I don't even like it. I say, hey, just give me half because I'm participating to show you I'm gonna be a part of this tradition here.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I toss it. Sometimes I try it. It's not the what, it's the why.
Right. Oh
And I
my.
think it's important for people to really pay attention to that. We really have to get out of trying to clone people and make everybody do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's not conditioned the same way. We're all resourced and equipped differently. Some
Mm-hmm.
people can't even look at a bottle. One of the young men I work with today, he was recovering from drugs, and somebody pulled pills out his hand, and he out their pocket, and he said he started salivating.
Oh
But you,
Lord.
that might not be your thing. So I can pull
Mm-hmm.
out all kind of pills, rainbow pills, and you'll be like, "What's those Skittles?" Right? So it's not the what, it's the why. Let's get into a place of internal honesty. where we can talk about what we do or don't do,
Mm-hmm.
why, and is it yielding the results? And if it's not, what options are available to change it? I work with
Mm-hmm.
a couple today. They've been doing the same thing for 21 years. I was blown away when they told me they've been doing the same thing in ministry for 21 years with no adjustment.
Jeez. I don't want to be me. I'm gonna make an appointment. I need an appointment. I need an appointment. For real. Like for real. I'm not gonna be out here being a hypocrite. Like I need an appointment because I want to make sure that honestly, I want to make sure that my mental health is intact. I want to
Mhm,
make sure that um my mental clarity is
mhm.
intact. And if it's not, I want to know how.
What to do?
I want
So
to know
that goes back to one of the first questions that you said, like we'll do this or we'll do that, but why don't we do mental health? Listen, I'm a believer that everybody needs a therapist. That
Mhm,
doesn't mean everybody needs to see a therapist every week for all their life.
mhm,
I think therapy should be just like your annual eye exam, your annual GYN exam, your annual lab work. We go every year to check in to make sure our levels are right.
mhm.
Why don't we do that with our mind? Hey, last year I had this happened a couple months ago, and I think I'm good, but I got a couple things in my mind. I want to run them by you to see if I'm thinking correctly. I had some things happen to me last year and I just don't feel the same anymore. I want to process that. Why don't we do that? Everybody needs a safe place to process their most vulnerable moments
Mm,
without judgment. That is what therapy does. Now, if you're using insurance, there are some other things that come into play, but
mhm,
that's a different conversation. At the end of the day, some people say, "Well, I ain't paying a stranger. I tell my business." Why not? The people you're telling your business to are invested in your outcome. So they
right.
want to tell you a lot of times what they think you need to know to get the outcome they think you want or they want you to have. Some people are well intended, just not well trained. Some people
Mm,
are not really well intended and not trained. Some people are not well intended and they are trained. So, I mean, we can go all down the road around it. You need a place with an individual who don't have nothing to gain or lose.
mhm.
Pure goal is to help you see yourself.
Ooh, I'm coming to you. I'm coming. I'm finna make me a good old appointment because listen, I don't want to be out here raggedy, right? Trying to help like Paul, out here helping everybody else, and at the end of the day, I'm over here depleted and they want to throw in a towel.
No, we
And
don't want
I don't,
that.
I've never wanted to, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person that has an answer for everybody else or that's always searching for something to give to somebody else, but never eating it myself, never taking it myself. And yeah, we got those things under control. So I need to see you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm making an appointment. This has been such a rich conversation. Oh my gosh. I feel helped already. Although I know Danita said it. She's like, I'm over here having a fit. I'm trying to find a technicality. Okay. I'm trying to figure out what I have to turn this phone off. This phone is my nemesis. But I'm gonna do it.
Okay, okay. You don't want to turn your phone all the way off?
I, oh no, because
Well,
I see I'm gonna read on my Kindle, on my phone.
because I was going to tell you, just go to your apps and shut down your app, your notifications, all of them.
I'm gonna do that.
Put on do not disturb. Put on do not disturb so people can't call you after a certain time. In about an hour, nobody's call is going to get through with me.
For real.
Nobody. Nope. I have do not disturb. And then if you If you're concerned with that, another boundary you can do, just send everything to voicemail. I send everything to voicemail. Unless I haven't heard from you in a little while, I'm like, oh, this is unusual. Or the Spirit of the Lord says, answer that, answer
Uh-huh.
that call. I send people to voicemail. You know why?
Why?
Because if it's important, they're gonna leave me a message.
Mm-hmm. That's so
If
true.
it's not important, they
They'll call you.
won't.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm busy and
Mm-hmm.
it go and I have to send it to voicemail, I'll send a text.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, is everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
Can't talk right now. They got those little messages you could just hit. Call you later. Can I talk? They got those little program messages in the thing. So I send people to voicemail so I can evaluate when I'm gonna respond to who based on what energy I have. There's some people who reach out. They always need a whole lot of energy.
A lot.
But if you always answer the phone right away, you're giving it right away. You're not managing your energy. You're letting other people manage your energy based on when they call you, as opposed to send it to voicemail and you decide, I'm going to call them tomorrow at 7. I'm going to call her back tonight on my way home. I'm going to call, I'll text this one, tell them, hey, we'll get together next week. You are in control of that. These are the kinds of things that you can do to fight for your balance.
This is good. When I come and see you in my appointment, I'm gonna tell you all the great and wonderful things that I've done to
Because I'm gonna ask you, what did you do? What parts did you apply? I'm gonna ask you, which ones did you use?
Okay, just for the record,
Uh-huh.
that means to turn TV off too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Listen, get you some good old jazz. Get you some good old, you know, I'm gonna look at my husband tonight. You married, I can tell you that.
You
Okay.
can tell me that. You can
Get
tell
you,
me that.
get
Mm-hmm.
you, get you, get you, get you, get you something to set you comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Just slow it down. Slow it down. Not the TV. The TV gonna have your brain. You gonna see something fashionable, child. You're gonna be looking for it on the internet. Oh, I can do this design. You're gonna be on Canva, make it. No, no. Schedule time to do that.
Okay.
Schedule time to do that. And as things come across your eye gate that
Mm-hmm.
you're going to want to do, stick them in some kind of file or folder. Create a folder somewhere where you can go back to it during your thinking time.
Okay.
So you don't feel like you lost, oh man, I don't remember what I did with that. But no, yeah, get you some good old comfy sheets. Get you a nice, get your favorite scent. Lavender. I love lavender. Lavender is really helpful for soothing and calming. Get
Okay.
you a non-caffeinated tea,
Mm-hmm.
a good meditative book, or you know, some set your intentions. Dream, daydream, envision what it looked like when your work is done.
Mm.
What will you do? Where will y'all go? You and your husband have a really amazing lifestyle now. But what would it look like when he says, thy good and faithful servant? What would that look like when he says, now you can rest? What would that look like? Dream about that. What's what is it that where's the vacation you want to go with him next? Because y'all on to go. Where y'all
Going to Dubai
going?
in July.
Where you going?
Dubai and Maldives.
See? So think about Dubai and think about what you're wanting to see out there. Envision it. See it.
I haven't
See
even had
yourself
time to
lay
plan
it out.
for it. This is good because this is helping me. I haven't even had time to think about it or plan it or even pull it up on the internet and see what's happening there.
See?
problem.
See? Envision what you want to do. Then tomorrow or the next day, go research it. Don't research it. Don't use that to get on the internet. Don't use
Okay.
it.
Go straight to the internet. I'm going straight to Chrome. Just write it down.
Just write it down.
Okay.
And so in the morning when you wake up and you look at your list of things to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Schedule it. Schedule it out. Okay, well, I'm gonna look at Dubai tomorrow at 2. I'm gonna follow up on this project for Tiana's Tea at 11. Just schedule it out in your planner, but make sure there's space in your planner that is for Tiana to think, to breathe, to stretch, to go to the bathroom, to laugh, to organize, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that part.
I'm gonna
To
do that.
breathe. There you go. Deep breathing. I didn't even talk about all of that. There's so much of
We
so
gotta
many
come back.
other
We gotta
things.
come back so we can help the people. But you gonna help me in the office because I'm about to make a good old appointment. And y'all see this website address I put it in there? Y'all need to go make an appointment. Listen, I'm all about us walking in our purpose, but I want to make sure that we're doing it from the right perspective.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not going to do anything I'm not going to encourage women to do anything that I'm not going to do for myself because I know the importance of it. Now, I may delay mine, but it's so much easier to tell you to do what's right than it is for us to do it. But honestly, this is so good and this is so helpful for me. What I have one more last question.
Mhm.
How long does it take for me to get into this routine before I become conditioned to like, you know how I become conditioned to like, okay, I don't need 2 hours of sleep. Like, is there a set time so that it just becomes natural that okay, Tiana, 10 o'clock, get to bed.
No, I would say no. I think everybody is different and your circumstances are different and your seasons are different. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So no, there's not a set time. We have to learn how to be patient with ourselves and our processes
Mm-hmm.
and give ourselves credit for the work that we are doing and the work that we have done. We have
Mm-hmm.
to give ourselves credit for that. We have to learn how to celebrate our wins,
Mm-hmm.
to recognize our successes, and identify that we may still have some things to do, but we have done some things and really sit with that. You said something that was so powerful that you hadn't really been able to breathe in what God has done. And this is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
That is the essence. I'm going to use it again. It is the essence of self compassion, where you get to breathe in what God has done in your life for you, and you give it proper recognition. You give God proper acknowledgement and gratitude for what he has done in your life. You're not sure what to do at night? Sit there and write a list of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
15 things you grateful for. 5 things. 3 things. Some people struggle with this. But what that does is it centers you and it causes you to be um, grounded in the now,
Mm-hmm.
in understanding who God is in your life and what He's doing with you.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a beautiful space. You
Mm-hmm.
can sit around and walk around, just turn around, look and see. I'm sure that if you just turned around, you could see something in there that God has done for you.
Mm-hmm.
If for nothing else but the gift of fashion, He gave it to you, right? So to give you an eye, God has given you an eye. He has given you a heart. He has given you a team. He's given you influence. He's given you courage. I just gave you about 5 things. So you don't know what else to do? Be grateful.
Mm-hmm.
and like really have a conversation with God about that. Not where we're going to Him and asking Him for anything else.
Mhm.
When we
Mhm.
go to Him and we really recognize what He's done for me.
Mhm.
I have had a hard life. I really have. A lot of difficult things have happened in my life. But one of the things that I will never, ever, ever forget is that even when I attempted to engage in substances, the people who were with me would not allow me to.
Mhm.
My friends would not allow me to. I'm grateful that God's hand was on my life. I wish that was the case for some cake and cookies and you know. I
All right.
really, I
Listen.
really. But my point is that coming to real appreciation and mindfulness is the natural word that people use.
Mhm.
Really, it's a sense of worship
Mhm.
to recognize who he is and what he's done. And so I know it can be really difficult to like sit in there and read the Bible, and it can be really, really, really difficult to do that. But nobody wants to say it's difficult to be grateful to God for what he's done.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if you struggle with that as a believer, that's automatically
The problem.
it's a self check. It's a self
Mhm.
check. What you mean?
That's true.
I can't find something that I know. Yeah, God has done it. And as you sit in that,
Mhm.
we will ourselves to worship at church. We can will ourselves to worship at home
Mhm.
when nobody's looking, because that's what's more important.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I mean, there's so much. There's so much material that that his children can benefit from.
Mhm.
But first, we have to just really tell the truth.
Mhm. Mhm.
We don't like the results that we have, right? And we need to we want a different result. And once we get to that, then the light can penetrate. Then he can whisper to you, "Hey, go here,
Mhm.
do this, say that. No, don't do that. Don't touch that. Say no."
Mhm.
You know, many of us struggle with just telling the truth. So kudos to you for being transparent. I appreciate you for doing that. You have helped some people today.
Listen, you have helped us. You have helped us, and I pray that the women. I know without a shadow of a doubt that many women have been helped by this broadcast, by this live, because this is something that women struggle with, and like you said, especially living in a world where we are being pushed to produce. A lot of women struggle with what I struggle with, but we won't admit it, because if we admit it, then that means that we might not be effective, and then we might lose people, and people might be like, "Well, what's wrong with her?" But I'm out here to help people. We're out here to help women for real and transform lives for real, so that God can get the glory out of our lives. And whatever uh, that takes, whatever is necessary for that to happen, then we have to be willing to go through the process. So I am so grateful and thankful that you took the time to come and give us this invaluable information, and not just information, but instructions and things, that practical things that we can do in order to bring about change in our life, because that's what people want today. Is we want practical instructions, what, not this arbitrary stuff, but practical instructions. And so, like I said, I promise, like when I get off here, I'm going to make an appointment. I think I saw on the website there's an appointment request, right?
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah, I'm going to go in there and make an appointment request. I would recommend that y'all make an appointment request. Okay, I saw a few therapists on the website, but I'm going to go ahead and make an appointment, because I want to make sure that, like I said, that I'm in the proper place and I have the proper perspective concerning myself. Can't help nobody else if you ain't helping yourself first. And then again, I recommend, but we have to come back and talk some more about this, because listen, at some point, I want every woman, like you said, I want you checking on your mental health, like
mhm.
you checking on, you know, your outward appearance and making sure
Mhm.
that's intact. I want us to, you know, make sure that those things are synonymous, you know.
That's
As
right.
a matter of fact, I mean, I think that our mental health is even more important because unless you have the proper perspective mentally, you're going to spend a whole lot of time trying to look like something
Mhm.
that you're really not. And I hate what, and the sad thing is to go years and years and years trying to look like somebody you're not just to find out that you weren't really that person. And now you got to
Yes. Yes.
undo it, you know?
Yes.
So I love you so much. I appreciate you so much. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to get together. Wait, wait. We got to make 2 appointments, one for lunch, and then we got to make one for mental health. Okay. But tonight, I'm on it. Wait, I don't have enough time. I only have 30 minutes before 10 o'clock, so I'm gonna make my bedtime at 11 o'clock tonight. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
you
All
good.
right. Y'all make the adjustments that is necessary. We love you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Please share this broadcast with as many women that you know, because we all know a woman that is struggling with mental health and she might not be in a place where she wants to admit it, but we pray that something that is said on this broadcast is going to hit her where she needs to be hit, and she's going to realize, hey, that's me. I need this, and get the help that she needs. Dr. Simmons, any last words?
There's so much that has been said, but I think that simply by tuning in, you started a process of evaluation, and all things may not fit, but at the end of the day, if you're not satisfied with your fruit, I encourage you to have the courage to ask for help. Not all therapists are for everybody, and that's okay too. And not everybody, absolutely needs a therapist. I think you should have one, but not everyone needs a therapist to be able to produce. But we all need a healthy environment, an environment that perpetuates our growth and challenges us to do better when we're not necessarily as optimal as we should be. So I just encourage you all to challenge some of the thoughts that may be covering the things that impede your ability to say you have shalom.
Thank you so much for that. We love you so much, and we will see you back later because we're definitely going to schedule back later. But we love you guys, and we want you to have a blessed night, a peaceful night,
Yes.
and we will see you again later.
Yes, yes, yes. Have a good one.
Bye bye.